Probably because I was not talking.
Oh, okay.
Also, just to be clear, if you're speaking or making any form of sound, it is not coming across. So did not even know that you were in the call.
Okay. All right, can you hear me now?
I still cannot hear you. Try again.
Hello?
Okay, there we go.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I was I was talking and I saw my little green light coming up, so I thought that I was coming through, but I guess not.
Yeah, I just assumed you did not know that I had called you. So at first I thought you were here because it immediately answered the call, but then I was like, well, I guess he just walked away.
Oops. Maybe. No, I answered. I guess it just wasn't coming through for some reason. Oh
It
well.
do be like that sometimes.
Well, I'll ask again. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. The ate like shit yesterday, so unfortunately I am unhappy seeing the result listed in numeric form, but that
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah. It's all good. Get back on that. Get back in that saddle.
That's all right. I literally can't do it again because I ate all the pizza. So
There's nothing left to eat.
I ate the pizza and the cinnamon sticks too. So
You outplayed your future self.
yes, fortunately, hopefully I somehow capped out on whatever digestive process that is. So, but I'm not gonna count on it. So I'm pretty sure I actually ate about a third of my weekly food budget yesterday.
It'd be like that sometimes, man.
So I did something like I went from doing about 1,200 calories a day to 4,000. So, so, so
Was the pizza good? Where was it from?
I was hungry Howie, so no. It was cheap though.
True. I guess
I
that
did not
makes it
spend very
better.
much money to ruin my week, but
That's a positive.
yeah.
Oh, great.
So I knew better. It is what it is though. So it's all good.
Cool.
How about you?
Uh, since or for the last couple of weeks, or 2 weeks ago, like the couple days after Godi, the PA school application cycle opened, and I've just been working and speed running, submitting that application. I got it submitted last night, so that's a huge win. There's like 17 essays and just lots of BS. And why do you want to go to our school? Because I want a good job in medicine that makes money, but you can't say that. So you gotta come up with all these reasons, all these other stuff. But
Because I love kids.
yeah, uh, that'll do it. So, um, but I'm so excited I got that finished last night. Anyways,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
And then, yeah, doing that while you're already working a lot is not fun. So,
Yeah, it's like work a 12-hour shift and then come home to have to do that. But I'm sure you know all about that from having to work and then come home and VOD review for people.
yeah, but the difference is that for me it's a routine.
Yeah,
So, like I don't think about it. So everything in my life feels like it fits seamlessly.
right. Because you
So
practice it.
it's a lot different when you have to actually stop and start a brand new process
Yeah,
and think about what you're thinking about. So
yep. And the crazy part with that all the insane number of essays is they change every year, so you can't even like mentally you can pregame by being like, okay, they might ask about this, in which case I say this, but a lot of the times it's just like a brand new like. Anyways, it's all good. Did good. Ready
it's good in the
to
neighborhood.
good in the neighborhood. Ready to play some Smash Brothers and to practice some Smash Brothers.
Okay. So the uh, the first question is what your game plan was going into this.
So, I feel like Mario fits into like the pretty like typical game plan of he has like very little range and he has fireballs, and as long as I'm shielding the fireballs or back airing them or doing something to deal with them, and then I can just like do my like typical back air game plan, and that like should be enough to keep Mario out.
Generally, yeah. I will say, I actually do have. I believe I did watch this and write up notes for it, and I just didn't want to send it until after you had replied to the question, and then by now I
Yeah.
no longer have this.
Oops.
So the way I recall it being though is that you mostly. I remember you mentioning that you said that you felt that you had just gotten lazy, but my perspective watching it was that you. I'm trying to think how to say this. You just got clipped by a very small matchup inexperience.
Okay. I I can see that. I definitely like there were a couple like smash attack and situations or like lazy I or just a lot of the time once I felt like that I he was getting in on me, I would just start swinging with like something like a big attack to be like get the fuck away from me. And uh that stuff I'm a little bit aware of, but like you said, the matchup and experience and what goes on between that makes me feel that pressure, and then I get lazy. I felt like I don't really understand what's happening outside of that, because I feel like the game plan sounds in theory like it should work here, but I was just getting, like you said, clipped a lot.
Well, it's remember nothing ever goes to theory. I don't expect it to. It's more a matter of the nuance of what happened and how you're going to deal with it. So the whole point of having a game plan is that it's the broad strokes. It's never going to be complete.
Hmm.
And so you take those broad strokes and then with experience you apply the nuance of that experience to the specific examples
Hmm.
so that we have a better defined game plan and or a better defined understanding of the game.
Gotcha.
So,
That makes sense.
like in this case, I'm pretty sure that what we're going to go over is a matter of you not understanding how to deal with small things regardless of Sephiroth.
Hmm.
And so we're going to find out those things, and then you would be able to apply the same knowledge to a different matchup versus Mario,
Hmm.
which is part of why that works in things like how am I phrasing this? That's part of why it works in cases of players who play multiple characters, essentially playing a matchup
I see.
and having answers to that matchup despite having never played it before. It's because they learn things like here, where you can essentially just learn by applying universal tools. And so the main one we're going to look at is how you deal with things like small hit stun.
Hmm. I'm really bad at that. Like whether it's Joker gun or something similar.
Not a matter of bad, matter of experienced.
Hmm. Gotcha.
So you're poorly educated on it because you are inexperienced in dealing with it. And it doesn't matter whether or not it's happened to you before. It matters whether or not it has happened to you before and you were able to consciously address it.
Gotcha.
Because if you haven't consciously addressed it, then it didn't necessarily get experienced, if that makes sense.
Hmm. That does make
So,
sense.
so that's what we are looking at here. So, going into the match, like this is fine. And so, this fireball is actually negative. So, we're going to look at which frame of this fireball it is. Which we can't really tell thanks to the ghost screen, but we'll assume that's frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll assume this is the frame 12 version of Fireball, which is going to be basically the frame 5 version. So Mario Fireball is going to have 49 total frames, and this Fireball is going to have 11 frames of stun. So because it is coming out so late, we'll just go ahead and roughly move it down to about 40 frames. We'll say he has about 40 frames, and then minus the 11 is going to put you at plus 29, which means this is actually a very easily guaranteed nair for you. Or it can be an up air, but I think your up air is not safe on hit at 0, if you can correct me on that.
Up air is not safe on hit at what?
0. Like if
I'm
you
not
up air him.
sure. I don't think I'm negative on hit ever, even if it hits him.
Well, we'll go ahead and
Yeah. There we go. What's that calculate?
yeah, it's minus 8 on the starting hitbox.
Really?
Yes. Now, if you get the end hitbox, it's still minus 4. Now, if you use the landing lag version, it's plus. But you're gonna have a hybrid. Actually, even if you use landing lag on the first hit, it's gonna be plus. But you're not landing lag right away. So it's gonna be landing lag plus 8 minus your drift frames.
Oh, I see.
So here we're gonna look at how many frames you drift after you get hit by the fireball. So that's all hit lag. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about fireball hit lag. Silly me. So it's 29, and then the fireball is also going to have 6. So you're still gonna have the better part of about 20 frames though.
Yeah.
to start your button up before he can respond. So this is how far you had to nair him. So this is his nair. This is first frame of his nair. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you had about 8 frames to put out a nair and fast fall it so that you can stuff his nair here.
Right, which with if executed immediately, I could have got out the nair in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just mash nair when you jump up to hit him there. And that way you don't have to time it. Like after you forward air, you can keep mashing nair because either you're forward airing and it's not possible to nair, so there's no punish, or he interrupted it in your nairing. And that's doubly positive because here's the thing, Mario's nair is also minus, I believe. Like his strong hit nair is minus 26 on hit. His fair is minus 22. His up air on the strong hit is minus 11. So there is nothing he can actually hit you with other than down air that is going to be safe on hit if he hits you up here.
And this only applies at 0 or like at really low percents, right?
Yes, generally he wants to get you to about 10% or so.
Okay.
But even then, it's not going to be very safe.
I see.
Now, if he gets the landing hitboxes that auto cancel constantly, then that's different.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So most of his moves will straight up auto cancel, but even if they don't auto cancel, they all have 6 frames of landing lag, which is 1 frame faster than Fox's nair for perspective.
Gotcha.
So they have almost no lag.
Right.
So that's if they had auto canceled on a fast fall, it would actually only be 2 frames faster than they currently are if you hard land with them. So
Nice.
yeah, so they effectively auto cancel all the time, and so except for forward air. So just keep that in mind. So here this was unsafe on hit, and this is down air. So down air is also, I'm pretty sure, unsafe on hit, but the difference is there's so much knockback on it that you can't do anything about it. So it's -4, but you're not going to do anything.
Right.
So
And you're using that knockback calculator to calculate all this, right?
yes.
The Rumendahl one? Okay.
Well, it also has hit stun, and also has hit lag, things like that.
Okay.
Can you see the screen okay?
It's doing that stupid thing.
So here,
Okay, yeah, I can see
the,
it.
yeah, so here it's just, that's the exact condition on screen. So we can see here that there's 2 hits on the down air frame. So we know it was the aerial version. But as you can see here, it's -14 or -4.
Okay, depending on.
Which hitbox on frame 13.
Okay, so you're
So
cycling. Okay.
yeah, so then we come over here and we look at what the frame 13 hitbox is. And that's going to be this one here.
Right.
So there's 2 hitboxes on this. I don't know what the difference is, to be honest. So it could very well be the -14 version. However, just from eyeballing it here, it does not look like you had 14 frames to act after he down airs you.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So this is you're gonna double jump out of stun, I believe. No, down there.
It still has me looking at the calculator.
Okay, that would be because I did not swap the screen share. That's my bad. So, so this down air doesn't work because he's not landing here in the first place. So pay attention to where Mario's drift. Now, if Mario came over here with the up air and is fast falling, then this down air would work because Mario would fall here. So just pay attention to that in the future. And the reason he's going for this down air isn't for damage. It's because it's one of the only things he has that's safe on hit.
I see.
Because at 21%, if we look at the Mario up air, it's going to be -3, which means that you can air dodge out. So that's why.
Okay.
Now, I think he actually should have gone for the up air anyways, but he's probably used to playing against the Sephiroth who air dodges out of it. Then now, if he gets up air, he gets whatever he wants. So this was all good. And so, again here, don't block the fireball. So the worst things that can happen for fireball is it hits you in shield and locks you there. And then all he has to do is just play around your shield because he knows for a fact that you didn't do anything around the fireball because it just kept you from jumping out or rolling out. So he just waits around your shield and he can punish whatever you tried to do out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But here it just sets you up so that you're minus, which is why he gets this up air here. So if you do hold shield, you just kind of have to either spot dodge his grab or hold shield. Because here I think you tried to get out. Well, first I think you tried to parry it.
Yeah.
But second, you try to get out. Don't bother trying to parry it or something. You can use like a forward air or something to hit the fireball and go out. Or remember how I said it's minus?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. So we'll say it's weak fireball hit here. It's still going to be -6 on hit. So you can get in there and nair to trade with his nair. Because his nair is frame 3 and your nair is frame 9. So if you can get caught about up here in the air with your short hop by short hopping into it and then mash nair, then you can actually put out a nair and your nair out disjoints his.
Interesting. So there's like, if I'm okay with that, I just jump into it and buffer nair.
Uh-huh. If you don't have time to jump back and forward air it to hit it with the
Right.
sword, then
Okay.
you can jump into it because you're close enough. Or you just run into it, get hit, and then you shield. And then generally what happens is, like, when you look at his fireballs, he uses them in the air.
Right.
And he
And
does
most
that.
Marios do that.
Well, they do that so that they can follow it and drift. And the idea is that if you had blocked it in the air or gotten hit in the air and then landed, then he has to press a button. And then, now, the second thing is against Mario, remember how versus Sheik, you're not trying to punish the individual aerial?
Hmm.
What are you trying to punish?
What comes after?
Right. So, same thing here. Uh, you block, you wait for him to do something safe on your block, and then he's going to do something else on your block. So let's say he lands on your shield with an air. So Mario Air is the same frame safety as Sheik forward air,
Okay.
and it's faster. So the yeah, Mario Nair is very safe, and but then if he does a short hop Nair, it's gonna auto cancel. Because if he short hop drifts back, his short hop Nair buffered is going to perfectly auto cancel that Nair.
Okay.
And even if he doesn't again, it's still 6 frames landing lag, so it's just like 150% of the auto cancel lag. So the idea here is that if even with all that, uh, it's still going to be uh, 30 plus frames minus on block.
Okay.
So it's essentially a forward smash. So you can just drop shield, and I don't think you have enough time to forward smash it, but you can actually drop shield and down smash and punish his nair.
If I read that he's gonna drift back afterwards.
Yeah, if you think he's gonna land with nair and go for a rising nair, then you block the nair and then you drop shield to parry him trying to go for a forward tilt. So if you think he's gonna mash forward tilt or something, or dash attack, then you parry that, which is the same timing as parrying his rising nair. Now, generally, what's going to happen is he's going to go for his frame 2 jab.
Okay.
And so if you try to parry one of those and he goes for the jabs, then you'll block the first jab and then get hit by jab 2 and jab 3 and take 5.7 damage.
Right. Which who cares?
But you don't care. He doesn't get a follow up on it. So Mario's jab. Let's see here. Now there's multiple hitboxes on the jab 3, but it's going to be +4, which means there's not even enough time for him to finish an initial dash
Right.
to get at you. So if he goes for a jab to dash attack, then you'll be able to block it. So generally, you are supposed to spot dodge his dash grabs because you don't care about getting hit by his dash attacks and such.
Right.
So you just spot dodge all of that until it's kill percent. And this was all fine. This works out. Tech chase. Covers ledge jump. Get the parry on that forward tilt. So here, you let go of it, or you stop charging it. I think you probably should have let it go. I assume you were worried about him caping.
Yeah.
Can you counter the reflected Mega Flare? Or does it break counter?
I think that the hit the I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that the hitbox lasts so long that I can counter it and then but I still get hit uh like after the counter finishes. But that could be worth if he jumps into it, but if he doesn't, then I like lose my ledge trap situation.
I think it might be worth it just so that he doesn't try it. That way he respects it.
Sounds good.
So
I actually have never thought about trying to counter the reflected projectile.
that's just something to try.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I don't want you to do it every time because you're supposed to be rotating your ledge traps
Hmm.
anyways. So you don't want to do the same thing anytime at any point. But like here, so this was all good. If you had just dash back forward tilted instead of buffering the forward tilt, so you're trying to punish his air dodge directly.
Hmm.
You can do that after a back air. You can't do that after up air because up air has so much more lag. Alternatively, if this had been a raw up air, then you might have had time.
Yeah.
But that's also why you're not trying to hit Mario directly. So see here how you, if he hadn't air dodged, you would have hit him.
Right.
So this is actually, I do think this was a good up air though. I want to be clear on that. So here when you go for this, short hop back and back air, or dash back forward tilt.
Yeah. I'm trying
So
to. I see.
so just playing around the mashing button. So here when this happens, just drift down and up B1. So this remember how I mentioned you up B too high
Yeah.
against 1P?
Where you said fast fall and up B.
Yeah, he killed you here
Yeah.
if he had just pressed the B button because he even pulls out the flood
Right. Yeah.
and you go too high and you would have gotten flooded and died. So you didn't need to charge it. You could have just up B1'd.
Yeah. I see. I need to work on that.
Yeah, so this was good. So this was you being, let's see here. Yeah, so you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames off. So this was the right play. You just mistimed it slightly.
Okay.
This was good. And like this is a perfect example. If you try and forward tilt left, you're gonna get hit.
Hmm.
But you dash back forward tilted, so it was okay. And that's the same situation that came up on the up air. And then here you wanted to just up B left immediately to just barely land here. Yeah, so if that forward smash had been forward tilt, you would not have died here.
Yeah.
But this forward smash wouldn't have even killed unless it got the strong spot.
It was supposed to be down smash. But still.
I mean,
A down smash
it,
has significantly less end lag, I think.
it has 14 frames less.
Which I think would have been enough for me to not get up smashed.
It has 14 less, but it also starts 3 frames sooner, so it's closer to 11. So yeah, it would not have gotten up smashed here, but the principle is the same. Like these
Yeah.
smash attacks are getting you punished
Yeah.
by both Dominator and 1P.
Right.
So it'd be one thing if they weren't getting hit, but they are consistently. And he wasn't reading your forward smash
Yeah,
right
he
by
just
any means. That was
reacted.
just raw reaction. Yeah, so this is the same thing where, so this is, pay attention. Like here, you could have just drifted right and up B left because he doesn't have flood anymore. And if you drift right before you up B, then he can't cape you. And instead you drifted into fireball, and that's fine. So when you're holding it, after you release, up B again. Does that make sense?
Holding it after. Oh, you just like as an option select?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, the whole it's like you mashing Nair after you forward air.
Okay.
It you can't be punished for it. Unless the situation where you were supposed to do it comes up, just because something interrupts you, and there's nothing he can interrupt you with there except for fireball.
Okay. I see.
So you see how almost all of these things that you're getting messed up for are specific matchup knowledge that is not relevant to Sephiroth. It's relevant to
Hmm.
just playing against Mario. Yeah, big fan of this. You didn't actually have to full hop back. I assumed that you were getting ready to chase him, but
Uh, yeah,
here you probably should have come down with a fair to hit him.
yeah. I don't know why I didn't.
You weren't ready for it,
Yeah, I think so.
so it just in the future when you full hop over there, pay attention to what they were doing while you're inputting the full hop. So don't wait until you're up here to pay attention. When you press the button, start looking at what you're responding to.
Okay.
Because remember, you can't react to it in time. You have to play ahead. Yeah. So this is an example of so this falling nair is safe. This rising nair or up air is unsafe. This rising up air is unsafe. This rising up air is unsafe, and then you nair him for it. Like you didn't have to parry for that. Like you see how far into him
Yeah.
you are when you nair. So like you could have just short hopped out of shield. You didn't have the initial dash short hop. So again here, anytime you're landing with up air and he's next to you, don't stand there. Just get back. There's your smash again. What was that supposed to be?
Uh, Probably turn around down smash. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You you're killing yourself on
I
those.
know.
And they don't work.
It
I,
hurts.
I, yeah. Now to be fair, you doing those down smashes does work on me. It's a matter of what we want to look at what that does on the general field. So, against the general field, it does not work. Against specific people, it might. So our question then is what? How can we tell whether it's going to work against a specific person?
Um, I could do like the same motion, but with uh like F tilt and just see how they're reacting to that. And
Specifically, the people who are trying to react to things and respond immediately, because of the way human reaction time works, people are going to have just enough time to actually react to it. So if they try and react to it with something that extends their hurt box, like let's say, so you're looking for people who are trying to whiff punish your forward tilt
okay.
directly. So here he's not trying to whiff punish your forward tilt. He was already coming in.
Okay. Oh, I
So
see. So you're saying that if they're trying to whiff punish, then the down smash might work. But if they were just gonna come in anyway, then it's not something that would
yes,
work. Okay.
and the reason it works is because you are staggering the tempo. It's a timing mix-up.
Hmm.
It's not because of the button you're pressing. It's because of when the button comes out.
So then in theory, if I just stood still for a sec for like the split second and then F tilted, it would get the same effect.
Yes.
Okay. I just wouldn't necessarily kill them for it, but also I'm not opening myself up to being killed or
Right.
getting punished in exchange. Yeah.
Right.
So
So the best thing you can do is just make them think about it. So once you've shown them that you want a smash attack, which he already knows, that's your third one. Uh, he once he knows it's in his mind, he'll start playing around it, and that has its own value. And if you don't see him playing around it, then that means you can use the smash attack. Like here, he actually isn't playing around it, and it would have worked if you had done it correctly. And so when we look at it, the reason it would have worked is because he's not trying to whiff punish it, but it's because he's not respecting it either.
he's just jumping in on it.
Yes. So here it's a matter of he's already playing over here and he's moving freely and not using any defense at all. So you can just swing into it. So that's the way it works. So it actually was fine for you to throw that out there. It was not fine for you to be doing it when it wasn't working though. Like I'm explaining why it would have worked if you had executed it correctly, and when you can tell it'll work.
Gotcha. So you're saying as like maybe a one-off situation, like if that was the first one, then it wasn't necessarily bad, or it wasn't. Uh, but because this is the third one and it hadn't worked the first two times, that this is not
You
worth
shouldn't
going
be doing
for.
something that you've seen doesn't work.
Okay.
So like here, we see you start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So 38 frames after you started this forward tilt, he dropped shield. So what does that tell you?
Uh, I mean that the smash attack would have worked in this situation because he was trying to whiff punish.
Probably not. So how many frames is forward tilt active for?
3.
37. All right, to be fair, I did say active. What is the total duration of forward tilt is how I should
Oh,
have asked that question.
37. Yeah.
Yes, so uh, how many frames after the forward tilt comes out is it on lag? Like on whiff?
If it's hitting 16, like 21.
Okay. So how many frames after 21 is this?
37. I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
So after the last frame of forward tilt is how many frames?
After the last frame of forward tilt is 21 frames.
Okay. So how many frames was it until he started dropping a shield?
I forget what we originally counted to, or like,
It's about 37, 38 frames.
okay, so then,
So the total duration of forward tilt, basically.
okay,
And so what is roughly the response time of people?
about 20 frames.
Okay, so what is 37, 38 minus 20?
Um, 17, 18.
Okay, is that during or after forward tilt?
That is just about, just like a frame or two after.
Right. So that's what he's reacting to. So he's reacting to the hitbox and where it lands. So he's
Okay.
basically
Oh, I see
reacting
what you're
to,
saying.
yeah, so he's reacting to this picture. So he sees this and he drops shield on reaction to it. So he's trying to punish this on block. So this is obviously very slow, right?
Hmm.
Because it's coming out. So essentially he's dropping his shield when your forward tilt is finished. Like the same frame you recover is the same frame he recovers. Do
Right.
you remember when we were talking about how undershooting things makes them safe still?
Yeah.
So what is forward tilt on block roughly? Like tipper forward tilt.
Is it probably about like minus 12? Yeah, it's like
Okay.
12.
It's I think
Minus
it's
14.
yeah, minus 14.
Okay.
Minus 12 is the one wing version.
Okay.
So the actually you do have one wing. I take that back. So yeah, you're right. It's minus 12, but we'll say it's minus 14 for the sake of this discussion
Okay.
because most of the time you're playing Sephiroth is going to be like most of these situations come up when you don't have wing.
Hmm.
So we'll say it's minus 14, and then how much hit lag is it going to have?
Let's see. I don't know how many frames of hit lag.
7.
7?
So it's going to be on frame shield lag.
Frame shield lag. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
So
that's the same as hit lag?
yes.
Okay.
Shield hit lag and hit lag are similar. They actually aren't the same thing, but for most intents and purposes, you can just use it interchangeably.
Oh, because the lag that's experienced on shield and when hitting the character, like for real, is the
The
same.
freeze frames. Yeah,
Yeah, those free. I did not know that those freeze frames were the same, actually.
I
Interesting.
believe they are. If they are not, then I have been operating on a very flawed assumption for a long time.
It's all
So
right.
the
Still made it pretty far.
so 7 up hit lag plus 9 stun means there's 16 frames after Ford Tilt connects with shield that the opponent cannot act. How many frames does it take to respond?
20.
Okay, so how many more frames on a human response is there still left?
5.
4. So the basically even after the stun and the hit lag, a human is still too slow. So the human is still a bottleneck on responding to forward tilt, hitting their shield, but only barely so.
Okay.
And so generally the weakest structure in any given mechanic is going to be what decides the overall strength of the mechanism. And in this case, the weakest point is the human response.
Okay.
So we're going to add those 37 frames, so 44. And then, so because he's responding to where the forward tilt hits, is he responding to hit lag or the absence of hit lag? Or is he responding to you entering what should be the start of the hit lag?
I guess. So if it's 15,
So he's responding frame 17, 18,
okay.
probably, of forward tilt.
So then he's reacting. Yeah, I think he's anticipating like it hitting his shield and then reacting based off of that.
Yeah, so he's reacting to the middle of the animation.
Okay.
Uh, so if someone is trying to whiff punish something, then or whether they're trying to or not, it doesn't matter because it matters to which component of the animation they're reacting to. So they're either reacting to the initial recognition of the animation. So this here, this is forward tilt.
Right.
So the only similar animation is forward smash. And so the question is, and so this is what I was getting at. You remember when I said if they're trying to whiff punish?
Mm-hmm.
The way I should say this for the sake of competency is if they're reacting to the beginning of your animation. So if they want to whiff punish, they should be over here and they should react to this. And why should they react to this?
Um, because they were recognizing that this means I'm about to attack.
Well, this is you attacking. You're not about to attack, you're attacking.
Okay.
So this is the first frame of your attack.
And they're trying to get out of the way of the attack to get in a position to hit me in the
Well, we'll say
that
he's
way.
already over here. So you can't hit him. So
Okay.
he's recognizing your attack. So what frame does forward tilt come out?
Um, 14.
So if someone is reacting to the first frame of that attack with initial dash, can they get hit by the forward tilt?
Yes. Oh, I guess not, because it would be coming out on 14
Right.
if they
So
recognize it. Okay.
they're gonna start their initial dash after forward tilt is already almost over.
Okay.
Like you're halfway into the forward tilt and then they'll start their initial dash.
Okay.
This is why Sephiroth whiffing is so powerful. Now, if they're reacting to this, how much later is this?
Um, it'd be like, or I mean, it's about like 14, 15, 16 frames, so then they would be reacting 20 frames later from this.
So forward tilt's over by the time they start making their button press.
Right, which is what we see by about
Yeah.
uh
So whether he's trying to or not, you cannot punish something on whiff if they're already halfway through the move.
right.
You have to start at the first frame. So he's reacting to the midsection of the animation. Now, when I tell you, when I say a comment like some so and so is bad or so and so is probably a weak player, then they're not reacting to either of these things, because what they're reacting to is they're reacting to this. And they're like, oh, okay, my hit lag happened. It's time for me to go in. Except, what frame does the hit lag finish on Sephiroth's Forward Tilt? Or what frame does it start?
The hit lag?
Yeah, on Temper Forward Tilt. It's gonna the hit lag is gonna take place during what frames of the Forward Tilt?
Like the ones after it makes contact? Like the
Yeah.
okay,
So it'll start on frame 15, 16.
right.
And it's active for how many frames?
The total move.
No, 7. 7 freeze frames.
Oh, 7 freeze
So,
frames. Okay.
and then we add that to the 37, so it's going to be 44 frames total. So we're going to subtract 15 from 44, and that's going to give us 29. And then, so 29 minus the 20, and so they're going to have 9 frames to punish your forward tilt on block.
Yeah, which good luck with that.
Yeah, by the time they drop shield, uh, you will be +2.
Yeah.
So, so the that is how your forward tilt interacts with most of the players you play against from Tampa, by the way.
Yeah, I see.
So that's generally, if you are plus after forward tilting somebody's shield with Sephiroth in practice, then that is what I generally use. But that is a more objective reference to it. It's you want to identify if somebody is minus, like if you're still an advantage, frame advantage after you forward tilt their shield. So you're paying attention to when they're reacting or when they're making their choice. So here, so the idea is if they're reacting to it hitting their shield or whiffing, like if he reacted to this, so he sees, yeah, it didn't hit my shield. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we'll say this is when they start dropping their shields. So
Right, so then there's
1,
7 more.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Oh,
10,
9.
11. So they just dropped their shield.
Right, I see.
And so now they're going to start their initial dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So their dash is over here now. And if your forward tilt comes out, then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they ran an end dash attack you, then they would have hit you because you didn't run dash back forward tilt. And this is essentially when we first started talking about what you're practicing. This is what I had in mind specifically, is this kind of interaction.
Okay.
So the reason we start out this is your base game plan is because if this is how this game progresses on a mechanical basis of how the game interfaces with your opponent, then the game is over.
Right.
And this is why it's over. And I know we've talked about this on a more practical scale of just they can or can't hit it. This is why they can't. It speaks of which part of the animation they're responding to.
Okay.
So anyone who reacts to you touching their shield will never, ever be able to hit you afterward before your next button comes out. And so the reason you're struggling with characters like Fox is because they're so fast that this window is enough time for them to get in there and dash attack you.
Oh, I
So,
see.
so what you want to do is you want to pay attention to how they're doing that. And so because you can actually stick to the game plan, we can actually probably go back and look at your VOD versus Mage's Fox. And we can look at what frame he's actually reacting to it. And then we can decide how we're going to use this.
Okay.
Now, for deciding when forward smash comes out, so he reacted to seeing the full forward tilt, correct? Because he saw the hitbox out completely, like
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that 20
So
frames from then.
forward smash doesn't work on that. So if someone reacts to this, so let's say in 20 frames he starts making a decision, and this is going to be somebody like Gluttony. So if if he's dropping his shield right now to jump into you, then he's probably going to be able to catch you if you try and dash back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so they're reacting to the earlier part of the animation, but that's not to say that they're not reacting to your forward tilt or that they are reading it. It's that this is a reaction. This is what you're supposed to react to.
So
And
is
I'm guessing this isn't something you've been reacting to.
correct.
Yes. So this is. Remember when I had you practicing reacting to jump squats?
Uh-huh.
This is how this applies to every other character's move. You want to look at the specific animation. So this frame tells you it's forward tilt.
I gotcha. Jesus, that sounds so hard. Uh,
It's not hard. It's something you are inexperienced at doing.
yeah, that's that's a good point.
It's now how this affects your improvement relative to other players, though. Do you know anyone else who is doing this?
No.
So, if improvement for like on a competitive standpoint is you relative to your opponents, then how fast are you going to improve at this relative to your opponents if they're not improving on it at all?
Uh, a metric shit ton.
Yes. So it sounds hard, but you have to remember that while I shouldn't say it's not hard, it is hard. However, this is a fundamental skill, animation recognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, are you familiar with? Have you ever seen Daigo in training mode where he just practices reacting to things?
I haven't seen him do that. I've seen him do it in tournament
I
or
might
like,
send you a link. Yeah, he
yeah.
spends literally hours every day just reacting to specific moves, and he'll practice have a like a CPU mix up using different moves so that he can practice recognizing the animations and responding to them.
Right. It's
And
just
that's
a
why,
massive flow chart.
yes,
Okay.
it's not even massive. It's very simple. It's is sword arm up. If so, it's forward tilt. Like what else is Sephiroth doing with his sword arm up? Like what are his other ground move is up tilt, right?
You're right. And that doesn't
But
look anything the same.
no, because his sword arm is forward. But does his sword come out on his jab?
No. I
Does his
think
sword come out on his down tilt?
nope.
Does his sword come out on his jump squat?
Nope.
Does his sword come out on down smash?
It doesn't go up
Okay, where does it go?
forward.
Okay, what about his down smash? Or sorry, up smash?
Uh, his up smash does kind of start in a similar-ish animation, or the sword is up, but his arm is in front of him instead of behind him.
Right. So you can distinguish the very beginning frames of each animation. So if you can already know that, then why would you wait for it to go more before you start responding?
Right.
That wasn't rhetorical. What situation would involve that? You waiting.
If the animations were too similar, or
So how long do you watch it if they're similar?
until the first point of differentiation.
Okay. Yeah, that is one correct answer, and it is a correct answer. The other is you can make an assumption and react to that point anyways
Gotcha.
based on the prior information. Also, just to be clear, this is not a conscious evaluation that most top players have.
Okay. That's kind of what I felt like you were saying. Um,
Uh, there are people who do it. I'm pretty sure Leo does it, for example. I don't know that he does it, but I believe he does.
okay.
And you remember, essentially, this is also the basis of ledge trapping, in case you
Hmm.
weren't aware, is reacting to the explicit animations on the ledge and practice responding to it.
Yeah, are I guess are that totally makes sense, and I see that. The issue I was having on the ledge, which is probably what I anticipate having in this situation, is sometimes there's certain like animations that I just like even watching it in frame by frame that I am not able to differentiate like two animations until like a significant amount of time has passed, or like on frames 1 through 10 I am not able to tell the difference between a neutral getup or a roll getup on a certain character. Um, but I guess I can just find an answer that groups those two together.
Yes. Multiple answers, preferably. That way you can rotate your lich trapping.
Okay.
So, that is a correct answer as well. Uh, the another like long-term development is you just practice responding to the differences if you can tell frame by frame. If you can't tell frame by frame, then that is an ambiguous animation, which is what we were talking about before. Uh, and to go back to when you would want to wait, the other answer is when the decision you are making is more than 20 frames.
Right. Wait. So the
So let's say Forward Tilt came out. So let's say this was down smash.
Mhm.
And so you jump out of shield to punish the forward tilt, but this was down smash. So they're going to drop shield. What frame does jump squat come out?
3, or I guess there's 3 frames of jump squat, and then it comes out on 4.
Right. So what frame is down smash?
Down smash is 21.
So if they react to frame 1 of down smash 20 frames later and input jump, then what's going to happen?
They get hit.
Right.
Okay.
So can you think of a hypothetical situation in which you would want to use a smash attack instead of a tilt?
If I was able to verify that they're going to respond to F tilt by jumping over or by jumping out of it.
Honestly, it's not even just jumping. It's literally anything in the opening frames. Like, let's say I wanted to roll in. It's invulnerable frame 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I down smash, I'm still going to get hit if I
Right.
react to the first frame. But if you forward smash, what's going to happen?
And they still get hit.
No. If they react to the first frame of forward smash, what's going to happen is
Oh, because they'll be rolling
fr-
through.
right. So
Okay.
frame 24, their invulnerability comes out. Frame 24 hitbox of forward smash comes out.
Okay. I see.
So, uh, like, there's very specific math that you want to use.
Right, yeah.
And you will be able to eventually get this by eye just by looking at how somebody leaves shield, but it's going to take a lot of experience first.
Yeah, uh the math, like the makes sense and comes pretty quickly. It's like trying to think about all the different pieces of it, where it's like, okay, they start the animation, or like and like the shield stun and the hit lag, and like trying to remember all the pieces that go into the math problem of trying to figure out what would work and what doesn't. Which I think I just need to practice. Um, because I think I don't really understand all of those pieces on a fundamental level.
Right, and you're not going to without experience
Uh-huh.
and just time to let that knowledge kind of crystallize.
Hmm.
So you're not supposed to be thinking about this while you're playing.
Right.
It's a matter of, well, if I know I'm not thinking about it, then what parts are going to be coming up more consistently, like on a percentage basis.
Hmm.
And would you say that even half of your players are going to be reacting to this?
Uh, I think based on what we talked about, no, but like if I wasn't basing it off of that, then like I would say I don't know because I've never paid attention to it.
Right. And you don't have to actually it's not even don't have to, you shouldn't trust me for the demographics on this. Like, I haven't run any studies on it.
Right.
It's just an anecdotal personal perception, which can be very flawed. So actually, like, look at the players in your region. Actually look at their VODs and look at when they act out of shield, and then go back 20 frames and look at what was they were reacting to.
I see. I truly, until just this second, I never really like totally grasped the importance of watching a different set with characters that don't play like uh in the same way like at all. Like if I was watching like Olimar versus Pac-Man, I would be like, it doesn't matter if that's a player I'm trying to beat because those are characters in a matchup that is nothing like the matchup I'm going to play. But I see now that if you are able to pick up on those things, you can know how they will respond to like F tilt, and then how you could mix them up and like on and on and on.
Right. And to be clear, you can generally judge how experienced someone is in a matchup by how early into an animation they act.
Okay, that makes sense too.
And so if you're playing a matchup for the first time, it is not realistic for you to be responding to early frames of an animation. And so what you'll see if you watch, let's say, a world-class player in an obscure matchup, then you'll actually see them reacting at earlier points in the animation because they'll actually mentally go through and look at what they're reacting to. Remember the Elden Ring?
Hmm.
How you pay attention to their animations
Right.
and then you react to those? That's the same thing. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
it is. It has its own kind of rock, paper, scissors formula when you get really down to it. Unfortunately, there's not, like even though I'm aware of that, it's not a practical use right now because it requires other people to be aware of that layer of the game. And there are not enough people there for me to be able to explore that. So I am looking forward to doing that in the future, but that is something I will eventually, hopefully, get to exploring. Is because, like you said, if forward smash beats this, but then you roll in. Well, if you react to the forward tilt, how many frames is a roll in for Mario? We'll say
Isn't it like 30 to 40? I don't know.
it's 29 for forward roll, 34 for back roll. So we'll say 29 frames. So if he's reacting to you forward tilting the opening frames, and he's not sure if it's forward smash or forward tilt, but he's going to roll through the forward smash or roll through the opening frames of forward roll, then what frame of your forward tilt is he going to start rolling?
Um, if he's reacting to the initial animation, then like
Mhm.
the like on the 20th frame.
Basically, 21st roughly.
Okay.
So the so if forward roll is 29 frames and he's starting the roll on 21, then what frame is he going to finish the roll?
Um, Around like 50,
Okay, so that's going to leave you at plus what? If
like
forward tilt, bear in
15
mind forward tilt has
ish.
happened because by the time he starts the forward roll, you've already hit his shield and started hit lag.
So if it's frame 50 altogether,
Yes,
then and
minus what?
forward tilt has 37 frame duration. So then I
Plus
would
hit
have
lag.
plus hit lag. I always forget that that doesn't include the hit lag. Um,
Well, you have to look at context because if this was forward smash, it wouldn't include the hit lag. If he rolls through the forward smash, he's going to be plus 17, but
because
he's
it's
not.
not making contact with his shield before he reacts.
Right. So there's
Okay.
no hit lag. But here, if forward tilt has already happened, it's added 7 frames of hit lag. So 37 plus 7 is,
44.
so you're plus 6.
Okay.
But he's going to suddenly be next to you.
Right.
So what do you have that is 6 frames or less?
Um, I have jab. I have jump. I have roll.
Right.
I have
So
dash.
so let's say he rolls in on reaction to you starting forward tilt, not knowing if it's forward smash, and he holds shield after, and you do anything but jab.
Then I get away.
But if you, yes, that is what you should do. But if you jump, for example, what is to stop him from just up being you?
Reaction time.
Essentially, yeah. So let's say you go for a short hop fade back forward air, but he reacts to you just having jumped. So his reaction to your jump actually starts, but if he is playing the game correctly, and this is, remember how I told you want to start reacting before you're actually in the air and
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to what happened before you had, or when you press the button and you're buffering it, you should be paying attention to before you even come to the time when you're supposed to press the follow up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where that comes in. So is it possible to react to a short hop fast fall that's 18 frames?
No.
No. But if he's reacting during a roll and he's already holding up B during that, then can he react to you having done anything that isn't jab?
No.
Bear in mind, we're just reacting to him existing and you not having jabbed.
I'm a little lost, I think.
So we'll say the binary reaction is Sephiroth goes up or Sephiroth doesn't go up.
Okay.
Because the simpler it is, the faster you react. And he's holding shield no matter what. But the question is, does he press up B or does he hold shield?
Okay.
Because holding shield beats jab. Up B is going to hit you for jumping.
Okay.
So, does that change anything?
Uh, I mean, it still seems like a 50-50.
It kind of is. The idea, though, is that he can't react. But let me rephrase this. Let's say he shields, knowing that you might jab a little bit late, and so he assumes that you're going to slightly late jab his shield,
Okay.
and he's timing it so that he upbees you between your first jab and your second jab, and so that if you jump in the direction that he's upbeing, you'll get hit.
Then he gets to cover both.
Yeah, but it's still a guaranteed jab for you if he rolls into the forward tilt. But if you are even 2 frames slow, then you will get hit.
Right.
And so that is what, like, if I were talking to you and you were the Mario in this equation, that is something we would have you practice doing, is have you practice reacting by rolling into this. And then, so what is that going to have Sephiroth start doing in order to react faster to the roll?
Uh, Either choose like a different initial option or start buffering things.
Mm-hmm. And so, what specific things is he buffering?
Like the things we talked about, like the jump, jab, or uh, like get away
All right.
on the
And
ground.
what do those have in common, like in terms of space, like where they're at? Like, how can Mario use that to read? Like, how can he use, if he shows them rolling once and then goes for that shield at B, then what can he, like, if he knows that the Sephiroth player knows what we just talked about, then how is that going to make Sephiroth's responses for the next encounter more predictable?
That he's gonna choose an option right away.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
I'm not sure.
He's not going to pick anything that's horizontally big. So it's going to be him in place or him going up. But either way, like if you were to make a pillar right here, it would be every possibility that Sephiroth is probably going to pick after he sees that rolling.
What about dash away? Because I know you would still be an initial dash, but you might be far enough away that Mario couldn't hit Sephiroth.
Uh, no. So because of the initial dash having opening frames, if Mario rolls in and just jabs or up Bs or forward tilts, it should hit the initial. Not forward tilt, but if he jabs or up Bs, then it will actually hit that.
Oh, interesting. So it is for in the first few frames. I've never like watched this frame by frame consciously, but you just like don't get enough horizontal distance in the opening frames of an initial dash for
Well, you're doing that exact thing after this, I believe,
yeah.
if I remember correctly. So we'll look at it. So
One.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
Your hurt
I'm
box is still
mostly
here.
in the same, yeah, especially with the leg back.
Exactly. And so If he goes for something like a short hop aerial, you'll probably low profile it because you're leaning away.
Hmm.
But if he's hitting down here with a jab or where up B starts, then it'll hit this foot. So 1, 2, and then after that, so frame 8, 9, 10. So this is where your initial next frame is when your short hop would come out, I believe, if you initial dash short hopped. So yeah, that is why.
So that's truly this isn't this kind of related. That's truly the application of where the slingshot actually has value, right? Because if they're trying to if they're used to you low profiling and you were to do like a jump back instead, they might not hit you.
Right. But the idea here is that this is an answer to a very specific situation.
Hmm.
So the the idea though is that you want to pay attention to how your opponent is responding, because so let's say Mario does the roll in and you try and forward tilt again and he shields, then is he going to get to hit you?
Yeah.
So let's say he does the roll in and then he shields and then you jab his shield late because you see, oh, forward tilt's too slow, so I'm going to jab, and then you're too slow. Are you going to get hit?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say he rolls in for a third time, and this time you go for a short hop nair. Are you going to get hit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though you're rotating what you do to answer it, the if your opponent is responding by picking things that don't correctly answer. So I started to say bad options, but are is anything I just said Sephiroth can do a bad option?
No, not inherently.
No. So it's just they are probably incorrect for this position in this choice in context. But the idea is they're not actually bad. So it's a matter of causality. It's the correct
Hmm.
answer or it's the wrong answer. And so understanding what makes it correct or wrong is what you need to understand, because that is what is going to allow you to make these correlate in your favor. Not necessarily always be right, but it's just a matter of how it affects the percentage of the time that you're going to get it right. And so what you're paying attention to is, well, gee, my opponent is consistently responding with buttons that are A, and he keeps pressing the A button in some way every time I roll in. And so we're looking at what the commonality between what they're picking is. And in this case, forward tilt, jab, and the nair are all the A button.
Hmm.
And so you just keep picking things that beat your opponent pressing the A button. Like you said before about the ledge. If you're picking an option that beats multiple groupings, or a grouping of multiple options, I should say, then you are uh, you are still covering multiple things. And even if you don't know exactly which thing they're going to do, as long as you're covering the group and they're picking their options in that group, then you're going to beat everything that they do. And they're probably going to feel like you're reading them.
Yeah.
Or or they're going to feel like it doesn't matter what I do, your options just beat whatever I press. That's not fair.
Which I think a lot of people would respond with that answer.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's a matter of understanding which one you're going to get and how they're going to perceive it. Because if you can get somebody in something like a negative feedback loop, or
Yeah.
where they're on the wrong track for figuring out how to answer your problem, then the game is over.
Right.
Because every option they're going to pick for the next foreseeable future is going to be incorrect, because the actual track they're on is wrong. It doesn't matter the specific choices they're making, because they're just going to keep making bad ones.
Gotcha.
Because it's bad in context, not because they're fundamentally picking bad options.
That makes
So,
sense.
and then that is also assuming that, so that is a level of player that would be generally considered to be good within the context of Tampa, is someone who gets on those wrong tracks. Because
Right.
if it's someone who isn't even making it to that point, then they're probably going to focus on using their strongest options without context. And so let's
Mm.
say it's a Robin using a Fair or a Thunder, then they're just going to keep using the Fair or the Thunder, and they'll just try doing it in a different way. Like, well, maybe I just didn't retreat my Fair enough, or maybe I didn't drift in hard enough with my fair, or maybe I just need to thunder thunder instead of thunder.
I
Something
got
like
you.
that. So the they also have to recognize that there is the possibility to rotate in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can see here with you versus the Mario, like you see how you're picking different responses, but you're on the wrong track. So
Right.
you like you said before, your base game plan was fine here. So he got some Hail Mary plays off of very low risk options like Fireball. And so this game is already over because you never, like the moment that Fireball hit you full all the way up here, and then he got another unsafe Fireball on hit that turned into his advantage. So he opened himself up to you twice and got to hit you for it.
Right. And
And
so,
so when he loses, he wins. When
right.
you lose, he wins.
S-
So it's just not possible for you to win.
I see.
But now that you know this, and you can pass those skill checks, this matchup would go very differently if you played him right now without having played another Mario again.
Mm-hmm.
So that I wanted to explain that pretty divergently, honestly, but that is where I'm looking at when I see you four tilt his shield.
No, I appreciate it. I like getting as granular with the like decision making as possible is really helpful. Um and like helps me like interpret it and then apply it in other situations. Um so I definitely think that even if it's divergent, it's super helpful.
I'm glad. So the I believe aggressive is also the word I was looking for. So yeah, so here this is actually fine when you go for this down here. Uh, you want to be careful about the DI. If you're not sure, don't DI it at all.
Okay.
Because you DIing it badly versus DIing it well is like a 60% difference. So you remember Rob up air where you
Yeah.
can kill yourself on it? So Mario down air is even worse about that because the difference is that if so it kills you with bad DI similar to how Rob up air does, but the difference is that it doesn't kill as well as Rob up air does if you don't DI it. So you're punished harder for being wrong. You're not punished for not doing anything. And then you're rewarded just as much versus Rob for getting it right. So if you're punished more for being wrong, you're rewarded the same for being right, and you're not punished for not choosing, then
Yeah.
why would you choose? Like, it's just not worth the risk of being wrong.
Right.
So you also have to recognize it is still worth going for the 50-50 when it is going to kill you if you don't make a choice. So that's just a matter of matchup knowledge.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so here again, see how he's putting out these fireballs? Just ignore it. Just come out and forward air him. Like you could have just come out already and forward aired, and it's just going to hit the fireball in Mario. But now you're respecting it. So this was fine. And so here, what you want to react to. I don't feel like skipping on through all that. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So see his hand?
Yep.
You see the hand lift? What's he going to do?
Neutral get up.
Yep. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, to be fair, I think his ledge jump is similar. And he does this flip on his ledge jump as well.
Right.
So look at the hand. And if you're not sure, let's see here. Yeah, it does have some of his ledge options on Ultimate Frame Data. So you can always use that. And he does raise his hand for get up attack as well, by the way.
Wait, where do you see the ledge options on Ultimate Frame Data?
Which ones are you looking for? They're not all on the same page.
I
Are you
was
looking for the image or the frame data for it?
just the image.
The ledge attack and the ledge get up should both be
Okay, I see
on
ledge
the bottom.
get up or get up attack. Where's ledge get up?
I say get up, I meant hang. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's not
hang.
very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, so hang and the ledge grab. And those are both useful for you to know. And then the frame data should be listed under stats. There used to be a page where somebody had all of the ledge animations, but that's been down for a while. So, Ripperoonie.
Damn, that would have been great.
Yeah, so here,
I swung too early.
yes. So we're looking at how too early. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 frames early. That's a running theme. Yeah, so when he goes for any rising arrow, you can short hop nair them on reaction. So his short hop fast fall is 26 frames. So if he doesn't buffer the short hop fast fall, then you can always short hop nair. And even if he does short hop nair fast fall, if it's not the auto cancel version, so like for example, his nair, he can't fast fall at all and still get auto cancel, which means he's gonna get 6 frames of landing lag. Now, on his back air, it actually auto cancels frame 19. So he can short hop fast fall his back air and get it on 26, and then frame 30 he can start shielding again.
Oh man.
But that still means that if you're fast enough on it, if you react to his jump squat instead of his actual back air hitting you, then you should be able to short hop nair. And it also means that you can consistently get your short hop out to start up your back air before he can double down after he swings. So after he back airs you is going to be frame 6. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to include the hit lag on that. So to explain why you can consistently get it, it's because of the hit lag. If he does a rising aerial and you're reacting to the jump squat, you can short hop nair it consistently. But even if you can't, you can always short hop past him towards center. And when you do, if you short hop left and then you react to did he move behind me or is he moving with me? Because if he's moving left, then he rolled in or dashed in and is drifting with you, and you can nair him on reaction. If he did anything else, like he stayed in place here or he hard drifted away, then you back here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so here you're back airing his fireballs, and so he knows that if he puts out a fireball there, and also that's why he's jabbing out of the side B, so he knows that side B is minus.
Okay.
Now here you wanted to dash shield. Here I think you tried to hit him. Or dash grab him. So you can just shield and he's gonna run out of time. That was nice coverage. Come back here. So here, your follow-up, second back here, doesn't come out. You were better off just fast falling the first one. Or using a double jump.
I see.
Using double jump over here and then fast falling the second back air was probably really good.
Yeah.
So there, instead of falling down with the nair, you probably wanted to come back with a forward air. Yeah, see how you're intentionally parrying the grenade? just jump over it here. So you just full hop, fast fall, and then come down with a fair or back air. And on reaction to him trying to run up behind the fireball, you can just double jump back to the platform and then fall on top of the fireball. Like when it comes down here, you just drop down and back air. And by the time you come down here, the fireball will move past you and won't hit you. So see how he's intentionally trying to fireball here to catch your recovery?
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to be ready for that. Also worth noting that when he goes for the second fireball, you can actually ledge drop, double jump fair, come down here and hit the fireball, and then drift onto the stage after.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously your back air didn't come out there. But note that even though it didn't come out, he's acting as if it hit and jumping around it. And then he's back airing on reaction to being in place for it. Yeah, so this is an example of what I meant earlier where you can just let it go and forward tilt right. So if you had forward tilted right instead of dash shielding.
Yeah, I see.
Hold on, let's see here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So yeah, you would have very easily hit him when he put his feet out. Or you would have been 6 frames too early. One of those two. Yeah, see how you keep drifting into his fireball range?
Yeah.
Like at this point, you can just intentionally be into the fireball with 1. So remember, it's minus. So you can get hit by the fireball and then just you're here and then you just drift in with all your jumps.
Yeah, I guess I'm not used to the arc of the fireball because I keep thinking that I can drift past it and I can't, and I'm not really learning in the middle of the set.
That's okay. It's more a matter of what you're going to do now. So here, this was really risky.
Yeah, yeah.
So he can't actually kill you with back throw here. So something you can do is you can just hold shield and then wait to short hop back and forward air so that you're off stage a la Leo. Remember when we were talking about it?
Mm-hmm.
How you can full hop back here and then double jump back onto the stage if you think that they are going to overcommit to catch you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can full hop over here, or sorry, double jump over here, and that if you full hop back here and swing, that you can use it like an extra dash back. Especially since you have to remember, you grabbing the ledge is not as painful as another character grabbing the ledge.
Right.
Yeah, and then here you just forward air, and there you go. So here, I assume you lost wing.
Yep.
So I think you could have held jump and buffered the jump out.
I tried specifically, or I think I tried. In practice I may not have, but I am aware of that or in that situation in particular, I was thinking to myself like I might lose wing here, so I'm gonna buffer jump. Like I am mashing jump here and it just doesn't come out.
Could you have held up B and still recovered?
I don't think so. By the time that the animation finishes, yeah.
Then what you can do is you can forward air while drifting down and hit him with the weak spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm fine with that. I don't think you made a bad decision, even though it obviously turned out wrong. I think that the things that you went into it with in mind were probably correct. I would rather you lose that way than have to have this conversation and ask you why you didn't forward air, go down and forward air him to death, and have you tell me, oh, I was afraid I was going to lose wing.
Yeah, true.
So I would much rather have this conversation. So again, it's minus. We can actually see how minus it is because he's so helpful as to jab us. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6. So he was +6 on this before drifting in to get you. So you do nair him into forward tilt here. And then here, obviously, you just back air too high with
I was
rising.
trying to catch jump.
You just wanted to start the jump sooner, so that your jump. So here the problem is you used a rising back air. It's not that you used a high back air. Does that make sense?
So you think instead I should have just jumped earlier and then back aired on my fall?
I'm saying that you should back air and immediately fast fall.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
see how long you linger out here.
I'm waiting to see what happens next rather than just preemptively fast falling.
Yeah, if you see Sephiroth moving up during the back air animation, then it's not correct.
Wait.
If I see back air out and I don't see Sephiroth falling, it's probably not correct.
Okay, so you're saying delay the back air just a little bit longer? Or, yeah, into the jump?
Or you could have drifted onto the platform with it,
Oh,
and you wouldn't
okay.
have gotten hit here. But the idea is you want to use the full hop back air and either drift onto the platform to finish the lag so that you get the landing version, or you need to full hop, and then when you reach the peak of your jump, back air and fast fall after the back air hitbox is coming out. Like, see here how the back air is already over with, and you're just now fast falling. That's why you
Yeah.
got hit.
Well, it was just in the first game, there were a few instances, actually, maybe that wasn't even this set, where I caught ledge jump. Like I catch ledge jump a lot. Like in 1P, I killed him like 3 times off of with that same rising back air or forward air, um, because of like reading the jump timing. Um, but you're saying that that's not worth going for?
I'm saying that your movement afterward is not worth going for.
Okay.
The back air is fine. I'm saying that you should jump sooner so that you can fall sooner, or that you should have drifted onto this platform.
Okay. Yeah.
Either one would be fine. Now, the problem with drifting all the way onto the platform is that you're basically acknowledging, yeah, I'm not coming here. Now, what you did versus Dominator earlier is you covered that same ledge jump with jump into up air, which is what your general game plan is. Now here, does back air get you anything other than putting him back off stage?
No.
So, with the up air, you swing over here, and your response to what he did after he air dodged through the up air was wrong. But if you get that right, then you'll hit him every time he ledge jumps. So,
Okay.
slightly less reward than the back air, but it covers everything and it guarantees that he gets hit. And then the difference there is that this is what happens when he doesn't ledge jump. So, so you're gonna get comboed here. And actually, that wasn't plus. Like, that back air wasn't real. You could have air dodged this.
Okay.
Pretty sure. So this was fine. Again, so we're gonna look at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please be 6. 6, 7.
Close.
Wait, is Sephiroth near active for 2 frames? Please say yes.
Yes.
Yes! So you're 6 frames too slow. Or sorry, too fast. So you did it 6 frames too early again. Exactly 6 frames. Because you would have hit him with the second frame of Nair.
True.
So 6 frames too soon. Love it when a weird pattern shows up. So this was fine. Like, you don't even mind this back air because it puts you at center. Like here, what you wanted to do is after you tech roll away, you hold shield or roll. So see
Okay.
how high is up?
Yeah.
So it would have probably hit about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 frames on Mario up air. And then it's going to have 11 frames of landing lag. So normally it's -3. This would be -8. Now, if he shields and you go for a nair out of shield, then he's gonna block it and you're gonna get hit. But if he does anything other than shield, then you get to just short hop nair back, and you'll hit him. So here, this is just you dropping your follow up. So I assume you were supposed to go for forward air there.
No, I thought that Nair was gonna follow up. I did exactly what I intended to do. I just thought he was gonna be closer than that.
Okay, well now you know. So that's hard to see.
What are you looking
Well,
for?
his DI line.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, he DI. It looks like it's 7 on them. Yeah, if I'm seeing this blue arrow correctly, then that's 7. So the yeah, in the future, after that, you just want to go for the back air after. Although ideally, you want to cross him up before you nair, so that you can put him off stage.
Yeah.
Which actually was easier for you to do here because you curbed your own drift so that you would hit him here. So if you get that, then you can just forward air him or back air him. And you have to remember, even if you don't get a full combo after that, if he has to grab the ledge, then he basically should get hit at least half the time. So, yep, that's all correct. So here you're going for the down air shenaniganry, which means you don't have enough time to cover buffered ledge jump.
Yeah.
So if you don't go for down air, so you get to choose between 2-frame or free ledge jump coverage. Because here you could have, if you empty short hops or full hopped away, then you could have had a come down with the back air and then forward tilted right.
Okay.
And the back air would have hit this ledge jump. Yeah, so that nair probably should have been a forward air. It wouldn't have changed anything. It's just a matter of general coverage. Like here, if you had put out a forward air and he had gotten up and tried to run in, he would have gotten hit by the forward air. Now, the way this played out, it wouldn't have mattered because he would have gone over it anyways. Yeah, so this was a fight. You were supposed to shield that, and he was supposed to grab you. Like, that's just both you playing correctly. You go for this, which means he gets another free buffered ledge jump.
Okay.
So this, you just nair. Good job. And then you full hop forward air at this. So there, the reason you didn't is because you tried to hit his feet. So playing around him air dodging it and get ready to hit the air dodge. So this still worked out fine though. So you got what I wanted, which is to guarantee he can't land here. Then you went for down tilt, which means you can't cover the ledge jump without hard covering. So he could have ledge jumped over that back air and actually come down and hit you. Have you 2-framed him yet?
Nope.
Okay. So now again, there's multiple kinds of ledge jumps. So there's the delayed, which has subtypes, and then there's the buffered. And he's using the buffered, which is the worst ledge jump. So if you look at a top player, buffered ledge jumps get hit most of the time because
they're ready to cover it.
No, it's because they cover it on their way to cover something else. So it's just buffered ledge jump is so much faster than every other ledge option that you can hit it and then hit another option every single time. Like you can drift back with a forward air to hit this preemptively, So you can't react to ledge jump. So assume that they do the ledge jump as early as possible and use a falling aerial to hit it and then immediately land and then put out your ledge trap option. Like you
Okay.
can use a short hop to the right, forward air, hit that ledge jump, and then come down and forward tilt to the left. And then you're going to hit the ledge roll plus get up or ledge aerial.
Gotcha.
So it's just a whole lot of coverage. Yeah, like you could have countered that, for example. Not saying you should have,
But I
because it wouldn't have
could've.
reached anyways, but just a matter of like the way he has to play doesn't actually beat you doing anything. Yeah, so here, because your shield is low, feel free, like after this back air, you could have full hopped back or short hopped back
Done that
with
layout
a
thing.
forward air. With a forward air, yeah. And then you can threaten to double jump onto the stage. So if you see him dash all the way back here, you can double jump onto the stage and immediately run off again. Or short hop back again just to get a jump. And you can do that until he starts coming up to challenge you, and then eventually he challenges you. You get this hit, and then it reversals him so that you get to ledge trap him now. Super broken. So that was just you messing up your upper. Would that have hit,
Um,
or would that have dead zoned?
the intention was to clip him. I done this before. Is if they roll, then the front part clips them, and if they don't, it. I don't know. It works sometimes, but the spacing is really tight.
Well, he's vulnerable for this whole thing.
Yeah, so I just did it slightly too early.
And too far away. So you're supposed to hit with this frame
I
or this
I
frame?
think so. No, I'm trying to hit with the back frame, and I'm trying to jump away with it, like and drift past him. So I don't think I was even close.
Okay.
I'm
So
trying to
you were trying to
remember.
hit him with this swing?
Yeah, like the end of the arc.
Okay, so yeah, you were spaced for it correctly. You just didn't. You shouldn't fall.
Yeah, I fell.
Yeah,
I need
you
to
weren't.
stop
I
doing that.
don't think you're supposed to fast fall in one wing, at least. Would that have comboed into something?
No, it's just coverage because I think it also
Hit sledge jump.
hits ledge jump, and then if they get up shield, it can lock them into, or it can hit, like hit the tip of their shield.
Here it is. So yeah, when this happens, you can just hold shield and directional air dodge into the ledge. FYI. And then he didn't read this. He's covering your buffered ledge jump.
Yeah.
So it's a set timing, which is why he can read it so accurately. And so then he goes for this back air, and then if you had gotten up, then he would have double back aired or landed and up smashed or drifted back here to grab you and back through, etc., etc. Didn't work. He doesn't care that he didn't get to hit you for it. He's not trying. Yeah, so you absolutely should have let that go. So you should have let this go in case he would have forced him to recover low.
Yeah.
And if he gets two framed if he doesn't. So here, what is this air dodge? I assume you
Uh,
expected him to double jump back here or something.
yeah, I thought he was gonna just like follow up with an aerial, or like, I even think an up air is what I was afraid of.
Yeah, that's fine. And then remember how he is reacting to the timing? And he's playing. So the way he acts assumes that there's going to be hit lag. So he's relying on you having hit lag. And then when there's no hit lag, then his timing is off, which is why this forward tilt works. But notice Even with all your mistakes, this is still pretty close right now. Like, it's very doable. So after this nair, could you not have followed up on that?
Um, I could have. Like I don't know. I was getting lazy, I think.
What do you mean by lazy?
I felt like he was gonna air dodge out, and like I just started guessing, and my guess was that he was gonna air dodge right away. And so I just went for the side B because then I didn't have to make that really quick input. Um, and I just went for the easy like side B option.
All right, in the future, if you could just go for forward tilt there instead,
Yeah,
because
yeah, he would have got hit.
yeah, so you had a guaranteed short hop back air, short hop fair, because according to this, it's about 24 frames advantage, and then you were a frame short because of what it looked like. Maybe we'll say 2 frames short, just because of how long you were in the air to drift. And so you can use a rising short hop fair or back air and very consistently connect that.
Okay.
So you executed like mechanically the earlier parts correctly. So you did a good job on that. So this is the issue is when you get hit, you're not sure what's happening. So here just DI away. Like you wanted to be on stage, but you can go away and he can't chase you off stage. So this was actually your stock. You died on this. So he went for up air and air. He was supposed to go for up air. And then actually I take that back. You weren't dead. He was supposed to go for up air, and then turn around, full hop, back air, back air. And that's forward smash. Get up attack is only when they're mashing buttons right next to the ledge. If you don't see them do that, don't get up attack.
Okay.
That's all the plan. Yeah, so there, if you had back aired, you hit him. Like it would have hit the fireball, stalled, and hit Mario. Now, same thing as always. Wait for him to swing. He's always going to swing. 2, 3. And then that was a -6 up air on block. And so what he's going to do is he's going to up air here, and then he's going to jump. So see how he's not reacting to the,
Right.
like it's too fast.
He's preemptively starting the combo.
And so after he up airs your block and then he jumps, you wait and you punish his jump. And you can do that by just jumping away from where he came from. So if you see him jumping left, you jump right and then swing a sword at him, because he can't drift over it because he's already holding left. So he can't. He has to decelerate before he can move right, which means he can't catch you. And so your sword will always come out. That's correct. Yeah, so here, after you get hit, you can just hold away and drift. And be ready to air dodge on reaction to him running out at you, so that you can neutral air dodge it. Because like here, if you come down here and he comes off to try and chase you, you can just reverse up B him and he's dead already at mid%. Yeah, so after you up B his shield, try and use a drop down double jump fair to stab his feet, so that if he blocked it, he got hit. If he pressed a button, he got hit. And then here, if he dashed back for up smash, you whiff the forward air, but you can drift on stage and forward tilt again. And if he tries to press a button after his up smash, then he gets hit.
I like that.
And again, there, like after the forward tilt, if he blocks the forward tilt, you just run off stage and you can use your double jump back air, forward air, up B, directional air dodge to the ledge, etc., etc. And you want to get more comfortable being off stage. Like here, you didn't have to roll back. So here, you can just short hop to the right and forward air to the left. And if he attacks the ledge, like to try and hit you, then he gets hit. If he comes back here, he doesn't hit you. He's not pressuring you, and you can just grab the ledge. And then you just double jump up to this point, and then you see where the sign is, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you see him start moving toward you, you immediately forward air. If you see him move towards center stage, then you can use your extra double jump to double jump onto the stage. And then when you double jump onto the stage, if he's trying to hit you when you double jump onto the stage, you either forward tilt or you short hop back to the right and forward air left and start again.
Gotcha.
And so the point is basically, and you want to have enough mastery so that he doesn't catch you just opening yourself up for free here. And eventually he'll either get bored and run into something, or he'll get bored and just let you have it. Yeah, so here the problem is you're using your jumps instead of your up B.
So I should just up B into the fireball.
Well, here you don't want to because at this angle he can flood you.
Okay.
But the idea is, see how you are. So here you just drift left. And you can just double jump neutral air dodge through the fireball and then up B.
Okay.
So this still works. Yeah, so yeah, so here if you see him next to you, like here, this is when you just regrab the ledge. That was tricky. So like here is another case where you can just drift out and threaten to forward air him. And then the question is he going to hold shield long enough that you can break it? Or shield stab it with fair? And the answer is if he doesn't, then when is he going to try and leave shield? And so here, once he starts a shield, you can just forward tilt or forward air, whatever he does to get out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you want to time your hit to connect right when the dot disappears. Like see here how he flashes his shield?
Mm-hmm.
So that means there's an 11 frame window that you can hit him. Yeah, so here this all works out. So you actually could have forwarded there instead of back air and drifted in with him so that you can forward air after your forward air.
Yeah.
But I do like this back air. Like it guarantees that he didn't come in. So you down air, so now you still, because he delayed and with the cape, you still have time. So you just come back here. So that short hop could have been a short hop back air to hit his buffered ledge jump.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back here and you forward tilt. So you ready to count it up?
Let's do it.
It's not hitbox. So 1. I think that's the hitbox, isn't it? Or is this also hitbox?
I think all three of those are hitbox. I think that's
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. Jesus Christ, get up is insane. Yeah, you were a frame off. Pisses me off every time I see it. Get up has been like this for most of yeah, it's been like this for years, but it still pisses me off. So yeah, you would have probably forward tilted his shield, but remember when I was talking about rolling through the forward tilt?
Yeah.
So see how he gets hit by the second one? How many frames did I say you're plus?
Like about 5, right?
6.
6.
I said you're plus 6 if he reacts to the forward tilt on the first frame. What frame does forward tilt come out?
14.
Okay.
So 6.
So he's 8 frames slow rolling in. So after the forward air here, he should have probably forward smashed right. I can see why he didn't though. Because you countering that is one of the few ways that you come back in the game if you play safe. So now he's just attacking you safely to try and keep you out because he's basically focusing on his own defense. Yeah, so here, you're just dead. So here, up B at this angle, he can't do anything. But instead, because you always use all your jumps before you come back.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is that you're predictable with your resource usage,
Okay.
and that's what's set up for this back here. So, any questions?
I think that was it, man. I
Alrighty.
got a lot to go back over. Uh, I did want to ask you about the tempo stuff with the Wanpi, and just in general. Um, so I know that I can listen to it and understand the tempo of like my attack sound. I think is what you're saying is like uh my tempo is like I'm gonna back air and then on the next beat there is going to be an attack. Are you saying like a back air specifically?
It doesn't really matter. It can be whatever. But the idea is that you can listen to, like, just listen to a song on your way over or something and tap your finger along with the beat and picture something like Fox short hop narrowing. And then, like, use your other finger to try and, like, parry the first finger's Fox nares. And then picture yourself using, like, a forward tilt to counter hit them or something like that.
Okay, I will try that.
So, whatever you visualize will work for you. I usually have people do something like practice a rhythm game.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go buy I've been wanting to play the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game for fucking ever.
Yep.
And I'll practice that. The I guess originally I think that I thought that a beat had to be an attack, but it it sounds like it's also just like a movement, like a button.
It's a decision.
Okay. And so if I understand throwing off the timing to counter that, but what am I doing and throwing off this timing? Am I using an attack or like an option that is a different amount of time? Or am I just waiting? Or am I empty moving? Like I just don't understand how to or like what I should be doing uh to throw off the tempo.
Well, the so are you trying to set the tempo or throw it off? Because there's different usage for either. So you can affect your opponent's tempo. You can keep your own tempo. So what we're having you start off with is having a beginning tempo to have the ability to play at a set tempo, and you generally want this to be as fast as it can be.
Okay.
And that is because you don't want to run into a rhythm or look, well, just to be more direct, you don't want to open up a piece of sheet music and then say, I can't play this speed.
Right.
So you want to have a challenging piece of rhythm for your opponent to match. And then you want to be able to slow it down if you think that it'll catch them. Like if their actions will line them up so that they'll do things at the wrong time. Or you want to be able to affect their own rhythm. And so the idea there is that you want to be able to hit them with things that are too fast for them to respond to, like when you nair into somebody's shield and then go for a jab. What defines whether that works or not is whether the opponent is A, hitting a note that lasts long enough that it covers both. Like remember when we were talking about shielding through a jab and shielding and then up being,
Yeah.
so that you're up being between the jab hits, but also to hit the jump.
Yep.
So that is an example of a single note being held long enough that it passes through jab and then comes back around to still hit jab 2 and also covers the jump. Or if they are specifically choosing to shield, 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 shield as a rhythm choice, so that they're choosing shield and to hold it 4 times, and it's not just a single decision.
Okay.
And then what is going to work, like when that's going to hit, is when they're thinking, oh my god, I got a shield, parry, up tilt, dash back, something like that, and then you just hit them with shield, and then they try to parry your jab, and then they try to dash back, and you hit them with jab 2. Like that's something you hit me with a lot, for example. And that's part of why I get really annoyed by it. So the doing things like that will interrupt it. But the reason that we don't have you doing that a lot of the time is because what is the reward on getting jab 2, jab 3?
Like nothing. Stage control
Uh,
a little bit.
that is the mechanical reward. However, you have to think of how it throws off your opponent's rhythm, their mental game.
Okay.
So if I am going to use you connecting that jab and or that nair jab, and I'm going to try and play around it, then that is going to affect the tempo of what I'm doing or the decisions I'm making.
Okay.
And if I ignore it, then that means you can just keep nair jabbing me, and it's just going to work for free damage because I'm just going to let you hit me with it every single time. And in practice, what happened is I decided, you know what, I'm just going to ignore it, let this hit me, be annoyed about it, and then not play around it, because the risk reward of letting this affect me going for big hits, like even if I get this right 10% of the time, the risk reward is going to be in my favor, because I'm just going to assume that he doesn't jab or uses a dash back, and then I'm going to get a nair to gyro to rotor arm, and that's going to be worth way more than 5 jab 2, jab 3s.
Right.
And so that's essentially what happens. However, in the meantime, even though I decided that for myself, what happens is I am not thinking, oh, I'm not keeping track of the damage I'm taking from jab 2, jab 3. I'm just seeing myself get hit by jab 2, jab 3 constantly. And it's annoying as all hell because I see myself get hit by 8 hits of jab. And I'm not thinking, oh, well, this next nair is going to do way more than that. My thinking is, Jesus Christ, that's the 8th fucking jab.
Yeah. True. That makes
And
sense.
so even though I don't want to, and it's not productive for me to feel that way, I'm going to feel that way, and it's going to affect my play in a different way that is favorable to you. And so that's not how everyone is going to respond to it. And so figuring out how that's going to respond to people, though, is unfortunately not a set science. And so I can't just give you a strict if then statement that you can use to predict how that'll affect people. However, it's something
Right.
that you'll eventually be able to pick up on by just watching people. And I'm sure you already have like a a generalized internalized voice of people getting frustrated when you are playing your base game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can feel when they're getting frustrated without looking at them based on the way they're playing.
Right. Yeah.
And so eventually you'll be able to pick up those kinds of communications in other ways. And that's when things like recognizing when your opponent's going to start playing as fast as they can, then that's when you're going to start being able to let them play into your jab 2, jab 3. And then you're paying attention to, well, how did that affect them?
That makes sense. I am still like looking. Are you able to just show me and just real quickly that first interaction with Wampi in the Me Brawler game where you were telling me to look at it? Um, like, are you able to just like show me exactly like what I or other things I could have been doing at that time that would have not have led to me getting hit? Because I just am really struggling
It's
with that.
it's not a matter of what. Now, just to be clear, what are you? Which one are you referring to? Because I have a feeling you and I are talking about different things.
We might be.
Or rather, what I'm thinking of is not what you're referring to, I should say.
Let me see. I'll just show.
every time. So specifically the Mii Brawler game?
Yeah, or because you were telling me to look at this, and I just think, can you see the stream?
I can.
Okay. So I think it's like
So
right
just
here.
play it at full speed.
Okay. So this right here, boom, boom, boom. Is that what you were talking about when you were saying the
So
first big interaction?
go back to go. So now go back and listen to what you're going to do on the second finger snap. On reaction to you doing anything.
Okay.
So generally, whatever you are going to press is something that you press 2 snaps later. So if he reacts to what you're going to do, then is when he needs to hit you.
Okay, so he just thought that I was gonna attack on that beat, and so he put an attack there.
Not necessarily attack. That's the thing. If he had look at where he attacks, and he commits to a pretty wide range of movement. So see how he full hop nairs?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you dashed back. Could he have drifted in? Or did he buffer a fast fall? Or did he fast fall in reaction to hitting you and he could have drifted?
It looks like, I mean, I can go back and look, but it looked like he fast fell on reaction. Like he just, I guess, full hop nared.
Yeah. So he rising full hop nared. So he wasn't sure on the general time, like what you were going to be doing, but he wasn't necessarily trying to hit you on the way up. Which is we can tell because he shields after. Do you think he was trying to set you up so that he could block next to you? Or do you think he was trying to hit you and get a reward?
I guess I'm not sure.
Well, let me phrase it this way. Does Mii Brawler have anything that could have comboed off there instead of Nair? Like, could he have full hop forward aired you into up air?
I am not familiar enough with the character to know.
Well, how can we find out?
Go to the knockback calculator.
It just so happens that I have it open right in front of me. So, it does about 11 damage. So it's minus on hit. Let's see here. His up air is minus on hit. His also everything he has is basically minus on hit. So, I'm pretty sure he wanted to get a landing hitbox though.
Okay.
So his landing hitboxes are not minus on hit. In fact, his landing hitboxes are very not minus on hit. So this Nair, remember the Mario Fireball?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the landing Nair is a guaranteed dash grab combo. The rising Nair is a guaranteed Nair from you. You had a guaranteed Nair on him. You just weren't ready. So you could have just mashed Nair. But again, remember the Remember the Nair to jab on why that works?
Uh,
So,
because it's off
all right, so we'll
timing.
watch through that full sequence.
So
See
it
how between the snaps? So the jab was a completely separate tempo from everything else he did.
right. Okay, so if I
So
would have jabbed, it would have. You're saying it would have been a different tempo.
he basically oh, you did jab, and it was a different tempo. So basically, what happened is he was whether you were going to forward tilt or jump back and swing would have come out during the jab.
Okay.
And it's not worth it for him to play around you having grabbed him, because if you grabbed him, then he's getting hit and he's not rewarded for not responding right away. So he's basically trying to catch your movement and such, because that is what he can play around, and you are supposed to play around what you can.
Okay, so the jab is off tempo, and he, rather than like trying to anticipate that, is just gonna keep covering the tempo. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah. So it's a matter of if you can alter that tempo from to, then the faster tempo is going to mean that there's either they keep up and they're going to start playing and they have to make multiple decisions faster, or that they're going to start missing decisions.
Okay.
And generally, whenever you miss a decision, it does not give you nothing. It gives you repeating whatever the last input that you made was, just because of the way the buffer system works.
So do you think that Wanpi as a player is picking up on this consciously, or that it's subconscious?
I think he studies it. I don't know what he is knowledgeable on though.
Okay.
So I'm sure he's a very knowledgeable young man, but I don't know about what. So I'm sure there's things he knows that I don't know. But that knowing what he knows that I don't know, especially when I am personally familiar with quite a bit of what I don't know, it's such a broad field that I couldn't begin to guess.
Okay.
So aside from obvious things like Palutena specific mechanics.
Gotcha.
So uh, on that note, actually, what did he say when you asked him?
Um, haven't messaged him. I
Oh,
didn't end up doing that. I'll do that today.
well, what does it cost you?
Nothing.
Oh, a little bit of time.
Uh, Not an appreciable amount of time. I'm gonna message him. And so, like, are you saying you think I should ask him about that in particular, or just wanting to see what he says because he knows things that you may not know?
I'm sorry.
Are you just saying just message him in general, like about just seeing what he has to say about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to be vague. You want to ask him specific questions if possible. And if you don't have specific questions, then ask him if he had any particular advice. Like I said before, send him the VOD and include the VOD. And the reason for that is because does he know that there's a VOD of it?
Uh, Not really. I mean, I think he saw me use the Avermedia, uh, but I don't think I would be surprised if he remembers that.
So the idea is you want to gauge the person. And if you think it's someone who would be excited to have an unexpected VOD to look at, then you can probably just send them the VOD and trust that they're going to look at it for their own sake.
Okay. Do you think, or like, I guess I kind of want to ask him about the timing, like the exact interaction that, like that first one, and see if he has thoughts on that. Like if, like, he thought about that specifically, or if he just like subconsciously picked up on the timing. Because I would just really like to know that, because I think not a lot of players play around the timing, or if they do, I'm not aware of it. And then I just feel like some players pick up on the tempo, like better players, and then I'm not used to having to play around it, and I just don't really know what to do. Like even if you told me mid-set he's playing around my tempo, I would kind of be like, okay, well, I I probably wouldn't change a whole lot because I'm not used to changing it.
So remember how I said you want to try and ask specific questions?
Hmm.
So the idea is that you want to ask yourself, what do I want to learn from this? Like specifically. And anytime there's something where you're not sure or you just want an additional perspective, you ask what is going to give you more information on that. So an example of that would be, in this case, you can ask him, what were you using to time your hits on me in neutral? And that's going to give specific prompting context because his answer is going to be relating to time because you're asking him about time. It doesn't necessarily have to be that question though. You can just ask him, what were you using to hit me? Or was there anything particular you were looking for? Things like that. And for that, again, this comes down to you paying attention to what kind of person you're talking to. Because if you are trying to gauge what he or what the other person is going to have, because in this case, if you believe that Wampi is a person who has a game plan going into this match, then they probably had conscious things that they were planning on.
Okay.
So, uh, in this case, it's a matter of not everyone is going to, but I believe 1P did.
Okay.
So, you have to kind of eye your target audience, so to speak.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, in this case, anyone you run into where you think they're a particularly conscious player, then you can ask them those kinds of questions.
Okay. I gotcha. Um, I guess my very last question then is, uh, for the tempo, so is there a way where I can keep the back air game plan, but just I'm alternating tempos? Like once they catch on to the main one, do I just like stand in place for a split second and then back air, or like turn around and do something quicker? Because I know the side B is a tool I have that is a different tempo that I can use. Um, I'm trying to balance the ideas of, I know that you told Jacob and myself, like Weenie McGee, like to play faster. And I'm trying to play as fast as I can. And when we went over like the decision making and stuff, to play quickly and like make decisions. And I'm trying to continue doing that without being entirely predictable on my tempo. But those things seem kind of contradictory to each other. Other than just throwing out an option like at that tempo, but that takes longer or shorter to come out. Um, does my question make sense? I know I kind of rambled.
It's a very sensible question. There are a lot of things I want to say in response to it. The I would say that everything you listed as a potential example is a correct answer. The So let me first clarify that you are asking me a question of how the back air base game plan affects or and is affected by tempo play. And
Hmm.
then I think separately of those, you are separately asking uh, whether those things do contradict each other.
Yes.
And so my question exactly is, how is it contradictory?
Because if I'm making decisions and executing moves as quick as possible, um, isn't that timing predictable?
So, do you remember when we were talking about forward smash and down smash?
Yes.
So, can somebody roll through forward smash on reaction to the first frame of the animation?
Yes.
Can somebody roll through down smash on reaction to the first frame of the animation?
No.
Okay. So, if you're playing as fast as possible, are you using forward smash or down smash?
I mean, yeah, I guess I can.
The idea is that you're generally going to be starting with either jab or forward tilt first, and then when you slow it down, it's going to go down to forward tilt if you were jabbing, or it'll go down to down smash. And then if you're slowing it down further, then you go down to forward smash. Even though they're only a few frames apart, there is a tempo difference that
Okay.
is meaningfully portrayed by whether or not the opponent can roll through it on reaction.
So it is, or the first way for me to start improving on this is to just vary my options with that have different timings from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so an example of this would be, what if instead of using a short hop back air, you used a short hop back, and then before you short hopped back, you did a turnaround and then you forward air instead of back air.
I could do that. I guess I've never sat down with the math to be like, okay, this is a different enough timing that run up shield doesn't work for both of these.
Well, generally people don't, and they don't have to, because the idea is that the idea is you want to learn how to do it as fast as possible with every possibility.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So you want to try and use the back air game plan, but also try and do it with nair, and also try and do it with forward air, also try and do it with up air, etc., etc.
Okay. And that's the reason for, essentially, that's just the reason for mix-ups in general.
It's a tool for mix-ups,
Okay.
and that's so that will So remember the five W's. So that's going to rotate what you're doing. You're going to change how you do it based on when you're trying to do it,
Okay.
and then you're going to rotate uh, why you're doing it, because there's generally different goals that you're going to have in mind based on whether or not you're trying to hit them or defend.
Okay.
Like you're alternating where you're attacking, both A, because of where the hitboxes are, and B, because you can rotate which places you're trying to attack. Like, for example, if you're up airing, you're not trying to hit them directly, you're trying to hit below them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like their feet.
Right.
But when you go off to fair them, you're trying to hit them like in the head, the stomach, the torso, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not focused on hitting their feet generally. Whereas when you put out the retreating back airs, are you trying to hit them at all, or are you trying to hit the space between you and them?
The space in between us.
Right. So you're automatically rotating where you're aiming at, where you're going, when you're getting there. You're rotating how you're doing it. You're rotating why you're doing it. You're rotating when you're doing it, which I believe I just said already.
It's all good.
So, listen, I'm not a smart man. The
That is
the
false, but okay.
the the idea though is that by just making a couple of differences, it's going to kind of spiral out and cause exponential complexity. And it
Yeah,
doesn't take
I
much.
see. I
It doesn't take much.
I think I'm over thinking, or I was overthinking it, the tempo part of it.
I don't think it's overthinking so much as underappreciating how complex it already is.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
So I think you are curious and want to look at the next step, but there's still a lot left on the steps that are you've already walked past, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
y-
you have to remember that as complicated as the game is, there are some very stupid people who play the game very well, and that so it as complex as the game is, it's still something that you can reach a very high level or relatively high level of mastery with while being a very not smart person. And so it is something to the point where it's not a matter of that you can't think about it so much as you don't have to.
Okay. I guess that's a good point. I'm trying to like break this down, or I feel like that the tempo part of it is like this new layer of gameplay that I'm like want to start like actively like practicing and incorporating into like my play that I don't fully like understand yet. Uh but that rather than being an entirely new layer of gameplay, it's more so just a component of gameplay that we've already been working on.
So something I want you to understand is that you don't have to fully understand it.
Okay.
And I think you are overestimating how much the people around you understand it.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
So just because other people are going to do things similarly to how you're doing, like some of the things you're just now learning to do, you're going to run into people in the wild, people who might not even have thoughts running in their head, uh, who will be doing some of the things you're just now learning. It's not that they are smarter than you, and it's not that they are thinking about this, and it's not that they are just that much better than you. It's that they happen to have started doing that subconsciously.
Okay.
Now, what's different for you is that because your growth is so conscious, is that it you have additional control over it, which means that you can make it expand. So your understanding of the game is expansive in ways that the people around you is not. So there's things they still understand on an intuitive level that you haven't even started learning yet, and that's okay, but that's fine. Like it's on the grand scheme of things, you have not even I don't think you've been coming over here for a full year yet.
I might not have.
So,
I think it's pretty
at
close
least not with
to the
Sephiroth.
anniversary, but
So the idea is, I think you are not applying appropriate timetables to your expectations.
okay.
And so it probably feels very daunting. But the idea is that you have not even been doing this for a full year.
Right.
And you're doing it with a pretty big distraction. So a lot of people around you are putting a lot more time into it than you, but they're not focusing their time as effectively as you are.
Hmm.
And so uh, it's a marathon, not a race.
Right.
So just focus on applying little things here and there. And it's just like going to the gym, just being able to fix a small part of your form. It's about what you do every single day. It's not a matter of, oh, well, I just reached this peak.
Right.
So, so it doesn't matter how high of a peak you reach. It matters what you're doing every day, day in, day out, and the little things you do each day to improve yourself. And those things just add up cumulatively more than any particular day is going to. Because
Gotcha.
you have to remember they're not even probably one of the top 5 players in the region is someone who has been spending like 6+ years going hard at it. So like most of the people who are you're seeing at the top of the events, like at the GOTY events,
Hmm.
are people who have been working really hard at it for years and aren't putting their time and energy that you're putting into uh, like PA.
Hmm.
So that same time and energy you're spending on that PA is time and energy that they're spending on Smash, and they've been doing it for dramatically longer than you
Yeah.
to keep up with you. So the efficiency between the two groups is not fair at all. but it probably doesn't feel that way because you're not looking at those numbers. You're looking at, well, I know where I'm at, and I know how I'm leveraging what I have to get what I'm doing, and I see these other people who are keeping up with me. And I think the way you're interpreting that is maybe they do understand that, and so you're curious about what that kind of multiplier is for them relative
Yeah.
to you. And so that's why I'm bringing this up. So your multiplier is extremely higher than theirs in that sense. Like, I want you to understand that what Palu are you prepared for?
No, none of them.
So, yeah. So you didn't have a Palu game plan. Do you think that you were the first Sephiroth player that Wampi has run into?
Probably not.
And do you know who the other Sephiroth he probably has been playing are?
Uh, I actually don't know. Is he South Florida?
Yes.
So Under
Specifically
God.
along with Undergod and Sabric, I think.
Oh, okay.
We'll just call it Undergod, honestly. So, like, Undergod is probably the best Sephiroth in Florida right now, or second best after Vinny.
Hmm.
And so the idea is that I think you were, what, one or two places below Undergod at the event?
I'm not sure. I didn't look at his placing. I think I got 13th.
So, Wanpi regularly wins tournaments over Undergod.
Hmm.
Wanpi won a close set against you. So,
True.
did you have a game plan for me, Brawler?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So generally, if you come in ready for someone and they're not ready for you, then that is part of how I manage to help so many people cause top player upsets.
Hmm.
So you can jump multiple skill levels above where you're at. And just to be clear, I don't think you were multiple skill levels above 1P in the first place. And I'm not.
Right.
So my point in bringing this up is that with all that, if I saw that match coming up on paper and knowing about your circumstances, I would have expected 1P to blow you out because I expected him to go in ready for you to not go in ready for him. And then on top of that, I think Palu is better versus Sephiroth than Sephiroth is versus Palu if neither player is ready.
Hmm. That
And
makes
so
sense.
I see just all these things stacked up against you. So I see him having more experience against a stronger Sephiroth player, specifically being prepared for that Sephiroth player. So I think he was favored against Undergod, and that you're specifically Undergod, but without the Palu experience
Hmm.
and without the preparation for it. And then you did better than Undergod would have. So I think that is more of an indicator of where you're at. So could you have prepared for Wanpi better?
Probably.
How would you have done that?
Watched his VODs. Uh, I mean, my first thought is to review his VODs with you. I could watch his gameplay and quarter speed. Uh, those are
Well,
the, yeah, go
could
ahead.
you have practiced in training mod for it?
Yeah, yeah,
Could you have played against Nerva for it?
yes,
So
probably.
there were all these things you could have done to place better, or not place better, perform better, and specifically his head to head. And you did none of it. Also, I lied. You tied with Undergod.
Yay.
So, so yeah, you were tied for the highest placing Sephiroth at the event,
Yay. Uh,
and you outplaced. For example, you outplaced Lade. You guys aren't even on the same page. Yeah, you got 13th. He got 25th. He lost to Undergod and someone else who drowned in pools.
gotcha. Yeah, I think you're right. Or like I feel good about like just the focus playing. A lot of the time I'm like, damn dude, I love all this PA stuff and all the like these other things in my life, but I'm like, man, if I had more time to just dedicate to Smash, I am like, I feel like the world is my oyster.
Yes, but at first I don't think like for your improvement, it is steady. Like even if so, first of all, I don't think tournament results are an accurate portrayal. I'm more so
I
pointing
agree.
this out because one of the more common pitfalls people use to miss their own improvement is to not pay, or is that they'll see other players improving along with them and misinterpret what that means. So the like for an example, I don't know if you saw, but Messi Pat got 33rd and lost to one of the people you beat, and then Fortunato got 49th, losing to Redshirt and Krill.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm more so pointing this out that there are like layers of interactions here, and I don't think this is significant. I'm more so pointing this out so that you have that emotional component, so that you can really kind of picture how much higher you placed than a lot of these people who you feel like are better players than you,
Hmm. Yeah.
or might feel like are better players than you. Like you tied with Nyrock, who usually outplaces you by beating you.
Yeah. True.
So, and he lost to the same people you lost to for the most part. So, uh, you just are. I'm trying to think how to say that. Your frame of reference is limited.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm going to phrase that. So, the you are doing fine. Like from my perspective, you're advancing pretty fast, and there's a very large amount of low hanging fruit left ahead of you. Like if you like what, just to go ahead and write it down. So adding those four different points are like you're still missing the bulk of what I would consider to be sufficient preparation for a tournament level opponent.
Hmm.
So from my perspective, you're not even a quarter way into what I would consider it for. Okay, now it's time for us to start looking into majors.
Gotcha.
So so you're not even a quarter way into that point, and you're already almost qualifying and for payouts. Like you were 2 wins away from a payout at a Florida regional. So,
That's pretty
and
cool.
Florida is generally considered to be a difficult region. So the I want you to understand that that's my perspective. Is you're less than a quarter of the way in. You are almost making money at big tournaments already, and you are going to get a lot better as you get closer to 100% prepared for tournament. Like I know for a fact that the person who won the tournament had all of these things done before he walked into the doors.
Right. Yeah, that makes or I figured some of this stuff. So you're saying the quarter is the practice executing your game plan and training mod?
I'm saying that you didn't do a single thing that I just mentioned.
Uh-huh.
So you have a base game plan, but if you do not have a written game plan for your opponent, then all you go in is with your basic game plan.
Okay.
So essentially, there's 5 major points here, and the fifth is the one that we're working on, the generic game plan,
Oh, okay.
where you take it in versus anyone. So my rule of thumb is, to be fair, you're not going to be ready for every opponent, but I'm sure you're familiar with how frequently Cola gets upset in pools,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because he's not properly preparing. Because he relies on his base game plan too much. But that's also why he overperforms versus the top players, is because he's actually prepared for them fully.
Okay.
So that is like each one of these things is its own multiplier. So if you run into a character you're not ready for, you don't practice against them with experience and you don't practice executing those things. So, like for example, let's say your opponent is a Mario player trying to roll into your forward tilt, and you know that you can roll into forward tilt, but you're not practiced reacting to the first frames of forward tilt. So then you try to roll into the forward smash, except you're a frame slow, or
Gotcha.
say 2 frames slow because you're just not practiced. Then all of a sudden, even though you knew that, you're gonna get hit by the forward smash anyways.
Right.
On
Yeah, I see.
so so that requires you. So the idea is that you actually play the matchup, and you know that your opponent is going to mix up forward tilt and forward smash, so you know that situation's coming up before it comes up. Doesn't catch you off guard. You have it written down how you're going to do it. It doesn't matter unless you've also practiced doing it correctly, which is where executing your game plan in training mod it comes up, because you can just set Sephiroth as a training mode dummy to mix up forward smash and forward tilt and practice rolling in on reaction to both,
Right.
because you can't do it too fast. You can only do it too slow.
That's
So
true.
you're the faster you get at it, and even so you can actually, once you get faster, so I say 20 frames, but in practice you can get that down significantly. So even if you get it down to 18 frames, do you remember when I said that it's going to leave you +6 on the roll in for forward tilt?
No.
Okay, so the situation is if they roll in on your forward tilt, you have a guaranteed jab.
Right. And so if
But
they
if
were
they
18
roll
frames, I no longer get the guaranteed jab.
right, and then they get the guaranteed shield.
Okay.
And so as long as they assume that you jab after they shield and be after that first hit, then anything they do other than shield is going to hit you because they reacted just that little bit faster. It completely changed the follow-up situation and made it entirely in their favor.
I see. So many layers.
Yeah, but that is a level of performance, and we use this example, but that's probably never even going to come up for you because there's no Mario player who is I'm aware of that's at that current level of analysis, like consciousness of their
Hmm.
play. So there's no point to it. Like you're wasting your time. You're better off just consistently getting your back airs and learning. Like if you had just stopped going for 2 frames and replaced that by covering buffered ledge jump, you probably like just that and fixing your fireball problem. Just those 2 things would have been enough for you to probably beat Dominator in that set.
Hmm. Yeah.
So just a few things are very low hanging fruits, and after that, like what is the next? What is the strongest Mario that you're going to find?
Gen V, or like you mean locally or just in
Then
general?
Dominator. Like, who is stronger than Dominator in Florida? Is it player? As Mario players, I'd say.
I actually don't know.
I don't think there is one. And then, how far north or west do you have to go to find the next best?
I'm not super well versed in my Mario players. Trying to
I'm
think.
pretty sure you would either have to go all the way to northeastern United States or into the Midwest.
'Cause I don't know what region Dark Wizzy is from.
New York.
New York. Okay.
And then south would be Eking. So, for hundreds, if not thousands of miles, you would be ready for every Mario.
Gotcha.
So,
That
and
makes.
it's you still are never going to reach that Ford tilt layer mix up. So, just because you don't need it, your base game plan was enough. Also, again, I would like to reiterate: were you prepared for Mario in particular?
No.
Did you have Dominator's habits?
Nope.
Did you warm up practicing reacting to Mario's animations in
Nope.
training mod? And you didn't have anything written.
Nope.
So, do you think he had practice versus Undergod?
Yeah.
Okay. So he came in more prepared for you than you came in prepared for him. And then on top of that, he got you with matchup inexperience. So the you were very much like if you were Ned himself, I would expect you to have lost.
Interesting.
But the difference there is that Ed specifically gets a lot of different high level Mario's against him. And also, just to be clear, Ned also does not apply this full preparation process, which is why if he were to ask me for help, for example, I would probably have him go through learning these same things, not necessarily the game mechanic specifics, but just teach him the basics of preparation that we're going through now, and just going through those basics and teaching him those things would give him a significant boost to his performance in terms of how he places at events.
That's so
Like he would,
interesting.
at the very least, he would make top eights.
And he already makes top eight sometimes.
He does it regionals. He doesn't
Oh,
at
at
majors.
majors. Uh,
Yeah, he makes ninth at majors, top eight at regionals.
it's so interesting that that there's just so many top players it seems like that just don't go through some of these steps.
Right. Well, he's gonna have to learn it himself. So, the yeah, it really always comes down to the basics. Like people are just missing entire swaths of basics, and that's why I'm calling them low hanging fruits because they're things that apply to pretty much everyone, and they give you a huge boost to your performance. So the right now, I like from my perspective, you generally don't go to any event prepared.
Correct.
However, it doesn't like you. No one else you come into the event with is prepared either. But just by preparing and actually having a game plan for every single opponent you run into, you're going to feel like you're kind of like cheating because it's just going to sway everything in your favor so much. And I think you're going to catch yourself by surprise by how people keep running into things. And even if you don't mix it up, they'll get hit by the same things. And if they do mix it up, they barely mix it up.
Hmm.
And on top of that, each step of this preparation has its own layers of improvement to it. For example, you can know that Dominator is going to go for buffered ledge jump and then mix it up by using ledge get up and then mix that up by going for ledge roll. And so if you have that pattern, then you're going to hit him. But even if you hit him with it every single stock, he's going to he's not going to connect dot for dot. Oh, I have a ledge pattern that he's picking up on. He's just going to lose his mind, and it's going to tilt him,
Right. Yeah.
and he's just going to stop. Uh, so that's generally how that works. Like it isn't a matter of, oh well, if I show them this layer of adaptation, then they'll counter my adaptation, and I'll have to counter their counter. That's how people think it goes, and that's how it can go as you get more self-aware, and both of you are self-aware. But in practice, what happens is whoever gets the last adaptation just wins, and it's over.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So the yeah, if you go into an event and you actually have like mage's habits, it doesn't matter that you can't keep up with the play of Fox because you're already going to be swinging at where he's going next because you're going to know ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you can compensate for that with planning. And that's also how I personally take games off of mage where I'll just put out a smash attack where I hard read that he's going to keep up with the difference in play speed. And then he'll move into it and get hit and he'll start yelling and that makes me really happy.
True. Gotcha. Well, I'm still down to come over if you're down.
All right, come through. I will let you know Jacob and I think Jacob is having over a friend or two to build the Gunpla together.
Okay.
So
Right.
he told me that they were coming over, and I didn't tell him that you were coming over just because I figured that you were going to be here a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
so
We
that's
were
all good though.
busy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you. See you soon.